Okay, everybody, this is Shannon with Shannon's Kitchen. I've already started the prepping, and I'm done. So I'm fixing to throw this thing together for us. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to go ahead and lay out this bed of herbs. This is Italian parsley and cilantro. Anytime you do fish, this is really good herbs to use. I'm going to be separating all this stuff between these two glass casserole dishes. I'm not showing any face today. I'm just going to show y'all the recipe, how I do it step by step. And I'm going to take the rest of these, more parsley, over in there and spread all these out. I might have put too much cilantro in this one, so I might just... There we go. And just kind of put the parsley spread out in there. All right, now these are my green onions. No, I did not grow these in my windowsill like I normally do. I got chopped up garlic. Now this I'm gonna push into the flesh. I've already cut up our Brussels sprouts and shucked the corn. Cut up the onion that we're going to be using in our pan for the sauteed mushrooms. Yes, I'm going to do some sauteed mushrooms. But anyhow, there's our salmon fillets. There's going to be 7 of us eating here today at our house. It's Mother's Day weekend. I hope that all you guys are having a fabulous Mother's Day. But anyhow, I'm going to put you guys down so that I can go ahead and... get the fish over here real quick. What I'm going to start doing is go ahead and start pushing the garlic down into the flesh. And since these the flesh is very tender, you want to be careful that you don't, make a mess or smash it all the way through to the skin. You just want it down into the flesh, just so. Alright. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and put this one in right here on this bed. And I go ahead and do that. That way it's out of the way and I got more space. I know I've been telling you guys I was going to do this recipe for y'all for a while, but there's been a lot going on in our house lately. And haven't been able to cook for you guys. My husband's cooking and grilling us steaks tonight for dinner here at the house. I just wanted to spend the day after church at home with my kids and my family. And the rest of our family's off at Bass Pro Shop right now while I do this for you guys. Whatever's left, you want to save it. I've got probably this much left. So I'm going to put that in our mushrooms over here, the sauteed mushrooms. But as far as the lemons, you want to put them on top like this. Maybe 3 to each fillet. Just lay it on that bed there. Now, these oils from all of these herbs are going to seep up through the skin and up through the flesh, and it's going to be really good. And also, too, when you cut these lemons in a circle, it makes it uniform, makes it look gourmet. And I like doing that. So, I'll go ahead and start with this lemon juice. And I'm going to make a sauce that I can baste the fish with like every 5 minutes. Because you're only going to want to cook this fish no longer than maybe 25 at the most. Because you don't want to overcook salmon because it can, I don't know, make it flaky and dry. You want it to be kind of moist, just like if you were making a steak. You don't want it to be dry because it will be flaky. And you want it to be able to peel right off the skin. And I always put this in here because you know these rinds that have oil in them. And it will flavor your fish. Because they start rendering as they're cooking too in the heat. So, there. Put that there. I'm going to save these. Alright, so I'm going to take these green onions, half of the green onions and sprinkle them on top. Here in a minute, I'm going to give you a aerial view of what that's going to look like. Okay? All right. So, this is called garlic butter. It's made by Heath Rules. He's one of the champions on the grilling show. And anyhow, this is what it says. It's garlic butter. See? I'm going to put that and lemon pepper all over my fish. But right now, before I do that, I'm just going to wash my hands. Because anytime you're dealing with any raw meat or fish, anything like that, and you go to touching things, you know, you got to make sure that your hands are clean. So, I always keep Lysol wipes right here in my kitchen. And that way, if I ever touch something without forgetting, you know, without washing my hands, I can always wipe it down. Alright, so here's the lemon pepper, and I thought for sure I pulled all this off. Now, it's not my candy seasoning, but it's great value, lemon pepper. And I can't get this off. Here, you be working on that. My daughter's here with me, Emily. Okay, so this is dill weed. So right now I'm going to go over and I want to do a fine coating all the way across that fish fillet. All the way across both. This adds to the tanginess of the fish. A lot of people do garlic and lemon and all this and that. I like to do all of it. And it adds to the presentation. It makes it pretty. So, thank you, baby. And now I'm fixing to go over with the lemon pepper. Just a fine coating. And it's okay if it gets all over your bed of herbs. Now I'm fixing to make a sauce here in a minute. For these, just using this and some butter. But when I use this, I just pinch it over like this. Because it's kind of strong. So you don't, you know, if you want to, you know, use just a couple, like 10 pinches between both fillets, you can. I like my stuff to be very flavorful. And if I see that one fish is covered more than the other, well, I just don't think that's fair. So I'm going to cover both of them equally.
Go this way.
Thank you. Alright, so we're done with all this. We're using our garlic over here when I start sauteing our mushrooms. So right now, before I put everything in, here's my bowl. Go ahead and wipe this down. I shucked corn earlier and there's a little bit of those strings on my counter here. I got my mushrooms and everything right here. They're in a pile. Fixing to pick you up here shortly and bring you over here. I've already covered my corn with olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. Now I'm going to stick my finger in here and I'm going to just lightly drizzle. Yeah, sometimes it might get some places, but that's okay. I'll wipe it down after I'm done. And I'm just going to lightly toss. Oops. Just kind of, you know, get it spread all over the place. Cooking can be pretty dirty, but it's okay. Because it tastes good when you put your finger in it. So, wash my hands again. Such a pretty day. We had church with my family this morning, and it was so great. We had a great Sunday service. Talked about how to discipline your children and the biblical way.
Oh, and I figured out how they were getting those pictures of the lights. Like how they were saying they were seeing the northern lights.
Oh, we've been seeing the northern lights here in Georgia and Alabama and Tennessee.
And I figured out how they were getting pictures of them. It's not visible.
You were having to do it through a filter on your phone.
You had to put your camera on night mode.
Right.
And adjust it to a different zoom setting, and when it would take the picture, it would show all the saturated light coming through, like the solar.
Right, that's probably the reason why we weren't able to see it.
Yeah, it's because it was through the camera.
Right. Oh well. But anyhow, I'm gonna take half a stick of butter. Butter, yeah. This kind of butter. Not margarine, not Betty Crocker. Was it Betty Crocker? Country Crock. Just butter.
Yeah. I call it the brown Cracker Barrel butter.
Yeah, butter. Anyhow, fixing to pick you guys up and show y'all what this looks like on top. It's so pretty. Looks so gourmet. It is gourmet. Are you wanting to do that? You can do that. I just haven't figured out how to switch it around, so it's. I only had this Apple phone maybe 6 months to a year, maybe. But that's what it looks like. All the herbs underneath, and then they're laying in a bed of herbs. And it's also good for presentation too. When you want to start doing the plates or plating them up, it's really good. So this is what I'm gonna do with these. I'm gonna take my salt here, my Himalayan salt, and just sprinkle it over the top. Take and sprinkle it over my fish again, just for good measure. Himalayan salt's better for you than regular salt, so I've been using it a lot lately. All right, now I'm fixing to take it and sprinkle it over my oiled corn. I don't use butter on my corn till I get it out of the off the grill or out of my my oven. What's going to happen is I'm probably going to do 2 segments on here, and then I'm going to cook my fish in Brussels sprouts because you know I don't have an industrial size oven.
Sherry, sent you a happy Mother's Day.
Oh, happy Mother's Day, Sherry. She's one of my subscribers, my best friend, and she's sending me a happy Mother's Day. So I'm saying happy Mother's Day to you on my YouTube channel today, my sweet friend. I hope you're enjoying your family today. Go ahead and wipe off the fish excess that's left here on my cutting board with my Clorox wipes. Go ahead and dry it off. All right, so I've already oiled my corn on the cob. That's going to go into the oven much later by itself because I have to put all of this in the oven. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these for now that I've done oiled them and put salt on them. Put them over here. Let's get them off the cord there. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and stick all this stuff in the oven. I've got my oven set at 350 degrees. That's really important because that's the best way to cook your fish. Now, you may have to end up pulling them out after 20 minutes because, like I said, you don't want to cook your fish over that because it's going to become real dry and flaky, and it may fuse to the skin, making it hard to pull off. Some people like to eat the skin. I like to eat mine off the skin. And then the way I cook it at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes at the most. Basting it every 5 minutes with my sauce that I'm going to make here in just a second. This is a half a stick of butter. This is my garlic butter. Just gonna stick it in there like that. This stuff you can get at Academy. Not sure if you can get it at other places as well, but I'm about to stick it in my microwave. I'm gonna stick it in my microwave. Excuse me, I have a daughter that does a lot of arts and crafts. But I put it in there for about a minute. Long enough for, you know, the butter to get melted and stuff. So we're gonna come over here and we're gonna start sticking this stuff in the oven because it's already preheated to 350 degrees. So I'm gonna stick this on the top. Usually your casserole dishes can sit side by side in your oven and have room, you know, for that kind of stuff. I'm gonna go ahead when this is done and mix it up with a spoon and drizzle it over the top of our Brussels sprouts. I'm gonna pull this out. After I've already oiled them and lightly salted them, come around. That's what it looks like before I mix it. See, everything's at the bottom. Take my spoon. That's what it looks like. And just kind of let it sit in there for a second. Ooh, hot, hot, hot. And you want to mix it again before you pour it because all that stuff will settle down beneath the butter. And you don't want that. You want it to get drizzled all over the Brussels sprouts. This is the flavor. Brussels sprouts are in the cabbage family. Some people don't like them. That's because they haven't been cooking them right. A lot of people like to go into grocery stores and get this, you know, the stuff from the bags. And but those of you who have been subscribers of mine for a year and a half, as long as I've been on here, know why I don't buy my stuff in a bag or in a can. There's several reasons. One is because when you boil your Brussels sprouts, I mean, it doesn't matter if you get them out of a bag or if you go to the produce like I do. These are from the produce section. All these come in a little net bag in the produce with fresh vegetables. You put them in water and put your butter in there and salt and pepper and this and that. And that, by the way, you want to make sure you cook that for 20 minutes. You don't want to go over that because, like I said, it'll make your fish dry. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to remove this pan. Yes, I'm not using wrought iron today. I'm using my trusty stainless steel.
And
this
Kale.
is what you call, huh?
Kale just sent you a happy Mother's Day.
Who?
Kale.
Oh, so sweet, Kale. Anyhow, this is a stainless steel saucier pan, okay? A lot of people call it, you know, a skillet pan or whatever, but I like to go ahead and get everything working up and hot in here. I'm going to use half a stick from what I left over from this, and go ahead and get this going in the pot.
Daddy's calling you. Want me to call him back?
You may have to call him on your phone.
Okay.
Anyhow, so this is what I got going on right here. Trying not to get you too close to my face. But, you know, the butter's just melting nicely. I'm going to go ahead and take, let's throw that away here in a minute, my garlic, which is a handful. Go ahead and stick that in the pan. I want it to reduce in there. See if I'm giving you a good thing. Now, this onion that I've already cut up, go ahead and put in here.
Okay.
Like this.
I was wondering if you wanted an assorted bag of taffy.
That's fine.
She said an assorted bag of
My husband's at Bass Pro Shop and asking if I want some of their taffy. It usually lasts me a long time because I can't really eat a whole lot of it. My family probably usually will eat it before I can.
That's
But
lovely.
I'm going to go ahead and give y'all back to my daughter, the camera lady. All right, so while that's going to be reducing in the pan, just going to be stirring it. Now, the next thing is I'm going to be adding my salt in there. And I'm going to go back to what I was saying before. When you buy your vegetables in a bag, the bag is lined with microbials. And that's to keep everything fresh while it's in transit. And it's frozen, so at the time, your microbials are dormant in the bag, right? On your food, on the lining of the bag inside. And then you put them in the microwave and heat them up. So then what happens is the microbials become alive. And they are on your food. And they fall off of the inside of the bag onto your food. And then you feed them to your kids and your family. We've been eating clean for over 10 years. And the reason being is because I don't like chemicals in my food. I don't like it in what my family and I drink. A lot of times, if you ever get a chance to see me off in a grocery store, I'm reading labels. Especially when it comes to juice from my daughter, my 8-year-old that drinks, juice. And I have to be careful too. Diabetics have to be careful what kind of juice they have in the house. Because, we're allowed to have citrus, but you want to have an orange juice that's made out of orange juice out of concentrate and mixed with water. You don't want anything that has high fructose corn syrup or high, or dextrose or circulose, any of the oses. Those are bad for you if you're a diabetic. It causes your sugar to shoot through the roof. Not to mention the natural sugars from some of the natural ingredients that come from the orange or the apple or whatever kind of, juice that you're partaking in. But when you're feeding juice to your kids, you don't want it to say high fructose corn syrup for one reason. Two reasons, actually. One, it's a chemical. And two, it makes them lose their mind and bounce off the walls like excuse my language, like they've partaken some crack. If you ever given your child cake or ice cream at a birthday party and see how they just go wild, or, people, having Hawaiian punch at a birthday party, well, that's because that stuff is chocked up full of high fructose corn syrup and circulose and dextrose. It's the first 3 ingredients on the back of the bottle, mixed with water and then some natural ingredients and artificial sweeteners. It says it on the front. This juice has been artificially sweetened. And those are chemicals, and you're putting them in your body and your children's body. So if I go to the store and whatnot, I'm usually getting stuff that is not chemicals. I want stuff that's natural, that I know is good for my daughter and my other members of my family and for me. I'm putting the green onions in. I've already mixed up a half an onion in there, and I call it the rainbow cut. See, you don't want your anytime you're dealing with garlic or onions, anything like that, you don't want to cut it too fine, because then all of your seasonings and everything that are supposed to go into the meat or the vegetables that you're cooking will end up on your cutting board, on your counter, or wherever. They don't end up in your food where the seasoning is supposed to go. They end up, wherever you're cutting it. So keep that in mind. But anyways, once here in a minute, I'm fixing to start making the butter that I'm going to start keeping my fish batter with, or that I'm going to keep on my fish. I can't even talk today. But I'll go ahead and wipe down everything. Periodically in my videos, you'll notice how I like to wipe down things and keep them clean. You always want to make sure that you don't cross-contaminate in your kitchen. A lot of times people wear gloves in cooking segments. I don't. because I'm cooking in my home and for my family. I'm not in a restaurant or nothing like that. I'm at home, okay? So, you know, I like to not wear gloves. But if I had my own restaurant, I would wear gloves. Because it keeps everything sanitary and, you know, you want to be careful too. Like I said, making sure after you handle raw meat or fish or chicken, anything, even bacon, or eggs or whatever, you want to make sure you're washing your hands, keeping your hands clean, and, you know, things are being wiped down with, you know, something that's got some kind of Clorox in it or something like that, or bleach. You know, something that's going to clean and clean well. So with a clean surface, it keeps infections down in your kitchen, and it keeps you from making your family sick, because it can happen. All right, so I'm getting off topic here. Anyhow, the reason why I don't buy my vegetables in a can, or, you know, see how everything's getting brown? The onions are becoming opaque. That's because all the good seasoning is being rendered right here into this pan. Green onions are rendering nicely. The garlic's rendering nicely. There's the garlic. All these are marrying together. So, salt helps reduce things very nicely, especially if you're, you know, just getting, this is like a seasonal pan. I'm doing a season in this pan because I'm fixing to add my mushrooms to that. All right. These are just your run-of-the-mill white mushrooms. All right. That's about a pinch of Himalayan salt. And the spoon, I'm just going to stir these around, fold them up into all this seasoning. And then I'm going to start adding more dry ingredients and some more wet. I just want to give them a light toss. But anyhow, a lot of people will go, even if they go to the produce and they get their Brussels sprouts, they'll fill up a pot full of water, put butter, maybe a little bit of oil in there, salt, pepper, you know, whatever seasonings you want to put in there. I've seen people cut up onion and put it in there, and that's all good. But all of the nutrients that is in those vegetables, where do you think that they're rendering into? You're going to use a spatula that probably has holes in it, like this, when you serve it. I use that to fry with, but, you know, something like this, so that there's no water on the plate. But, yeah, there's a little bit of nutrients in that boiled to death Brussels sprout. Where do you think the nutrients is? It's in the pot. And then when everybody's fed and you go in there to clean the kitchen, or your daughter, son, or husband go to clean the kitchen or whatever, your maid, if you're blessed enough to have one, goes in there and pours that down the sink. And a lot of times people don't notice that water's green, because that's where all of the nutrients is, in the pan. So when we cook clean, when it's not, these are potatoes. Anytime I make, y'all have seen me make cream potatoes on here many times. When you're a diabetic, this is the best potato to eat, because this is fiber in this skin. As long as you leave the skin in there, you get a lot of fiber and not a whole lot of carbs. So red potatoes are where you want to be if you're a diabetic. Type 2, type 1, it doesn't matter. These are the best kind of potatoes. You can use them to do herbal potatoes, cream potatoes, this and that. For you vegans out there, you don't have to use milk. You can use almond milk or soy. It might make your potatoes taste a little funny, but to each his own. I know that almond milk's kind of sweet. But, you know, also, I like to saute a lot of my vegetables because it keeps them you know, the nutrients fresh inside of that vegetable. That was probably, I don't know, a splash of olive oil. Olive oil has a taste and it has a scent, and it's good for you too. You know that they use olive oil or olives in antibacterial soap because it kills bacteria. Yeah, there's a lot of things that people don't understand or don't know. Like why I'm so picky about the seasonings that I buy, because I don't like, you know, stuff with chemicals. I don't use, you know, meat tenderizer for my steaks because I use citrus, mandarin juice, pineapple juice, lemon juice. Lemon juice is the best kind. And it adds a little bit of tang and flavor to your steaks. But it breaks down the molecular structure of the meat. The citric acid in there tenderizes your meat, keeping you from having to poke holes in your meat before you put it in the oven or on the grill. Because if you poke holes in a piece of meat, all those juices that you're going to enjoy when you're eating is going to melt down and fall into your pan or into your grating on your grill and not stay in the meat. And when you pull it off or take it out of the oven or off the, you've seen me pan sear steaks, juicy, flavorful. Where's all the flavor? Where's the juice? It's going to seep right out into the pan or your grill or your oven, and then you're going to be serving up a dry piece of meat. Fish, you don't have to use, of course you can put lemon on fish anyways, but you know, you don't have to do those things if you're careful and you're using, you know, citric acid. The juice from pineapples are good too. I mean, I've heard people do that, and it's really makes your meat taste good. You can use it on chicken to keep it moist and tender. I've even heard of people putting it on pork chops, because pork chops cook fast and they can get dry if you're not careful. So I'm gonna go ahead and start making this sauce for my fish. And yes, I do use alcohol. It's an arbor mist, and it's like a fruity arbor mist. I'm using maybe a little over a half a stick. That's what's left. Get this off of here. Go ahead and close that up. I'm gonna take this butter over here, and I'm gonna go microwave it real quick. Probably for about maybe a minute, just long enough to get it melted down. I'm gonna go ahead and get my arbor mist out of the refrigerator. Hope I don't have too much trouble opening it. Oh my.
Want me to open it?
Here in a minute, I'm about to add a little bit of milk to my mushrooms because they're cooking down real nicely. I think you might have to. Yeah. Anyhow, everybody seems to be stronger than me in this house. I'm not sure what that means, but anyhow, so I got this. I'm gonna give you this. All right, and I'll be right back and get some milk and add it to there. Now, that's probably about a third of a cup of milk. I'm going to keep that right there. Just going to stir it up. Now, it did kind of cool things down in my pan a little bit. But there's not much to 7 people because I've got a big thing of mushrooms sitting right here. And my husband wants me to saute mushrooms tonight with our steaks. So that's for tonight. I'm going to put this to the side. But he wanted mushrooms too, because I made mushrooms last time I did this gourmet meal with the fish, and he really liked it. So, go ahead, get this out of here. It's kind of hot. Alright, so this is about how it looks. I'm going to stir it up. Squeeze all that goodness out of there. My salt, 10 pinches. A dill weed. You just want it to cover the top like that. You can see that. All right, lemon pepper, same. Just cover the top. My garlic butter. You want to use a lot of that. That's about 20 pinches. All right, and a little bit of olive oil. About 2 tablespoons. All right, now we have our little concoction, and this is for our fish, and I'm going to drizzle it nicely over that with this spoon. Very lemony, very hearty at the same time. Now, for the main ingredient. Do you see how it changes everything in that bowl? There's stuff fizzing in there. This is Arbor Mist, and it's the White Zinfandel's exotic fruits. This is what I use in my sauce. Do you see how nice that looks? Now it's been about 5 to 7 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead. These are reducing nicely. Give them a little shake. Add me some salt. Find me another spoon. But you don't want these to reduce too small. See? You want them to be able to eat it next to their fish or alongside their fish or on their fish, and it tastes very good. Now, this is the middle part of the onion. This is where all your hearty flavor is. I want to put that in there. I'm not going to break it up. I'm not going to chop it up. I'm just going to let it marry in with everything else. Now, I'm going to add, this has like been my favorite thing. This stuff is so good, so full of flavor. I'm going to add a teaspoon. Tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, because a little bit fell in there. But that's okay, because this stuff, it tastes so good, and it's so good. I mean, it's all dehydrated ingredients, and I love it. I mean, I like using it when I cook deer meat. I like using it just about on anything. I'm going to go ahead and give this another stir and get my oven mitts that I purchased at Walmart. I didn't even know they made oven mitts like this. I've been used to having the ones with the long arms on them. Well, I'm going to pull out my Brussels sprouts and give them a look-see. They're not quite ready, but you know what I always like to do? Drizzle a little bit of salt. Not much, just a little. Stick them back on the top rack. Pull out my bottom rack where my fish is cooking beautifully. All right, see how pretty that is? Now, my bowl's cooled off just a bit, so this is what that mixture is I just made. So good. Oh my gosh, it's delicious. Take it and drizzle it right over my fish. I'm going to pull them out in another 5 minutes and do this again. But I'm probably going to pour what's left in the bowl on top. So good. They ain't got much longer, guys. See how nice that is? My husband has got my niece and her husband and their baby and Charlotte with him at Bass Pro Shop in Macon. It's like a Cabela's for Georgia, but it's a Bass Pro Shop. But you can buy stuff from, you know, that Cabela makes there, stuff like that. And usually wear with them, but honestly, I just wanted to go ahead and get this done and cook this recipe for you guys, because I've been saying I was going to do it now for over a month and I haven't. So these are reduced. Their seasoning has melted into all of this, so I'm going to pull it off the eye because I don't want it to cook any further. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stop this video, and then I'm going to probably plate everything up for you guys once they get back, and then I will post it for you on our shorts. So bon appetit. This is Shannon with Shannon's Kitchen saying Happy Mother's Day. God bless.